How's it going, YouTube world? Welcome back to the channel. So yep, I did an iron butt on two different motorcycles. How was it? I enjoyed them both. Let's talk about it.
In the land of passion.
How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope everybody's doing well. Hey, if you're new to my channel, I like to say welcome. I'm TD205. If you're a returning person, welcome back to the channel. I just want to say thank y'all for just tuning in and checking me out. I really appreciate y'all for clicking on the video and watching. Today will be just a quick overview. Y'all know I did an iron butt recently on the 2024 Harley Davidson Road Glide, and I also did one last year back in March on my 2011 Kawasaki Vaquero 1700. And I just want to share both of the experience with both bikes and just kind of differential the two. I just want to talk about a few things that I want to go over, and I won't keep you all too long, but I just want to kind of let you all know that it is possible to do two iron butts on two different bikes, one being a American motorcycle and the second being a Japanese motorcycle. A few things I'm going to talk about, they'll be real brief. I won't keep y'all too long. I'll talk about the distance that I traveled with both bikes. I'll talk about the gas stops, and I'll talk about the comfort in both bikes, and then I'll talk about the backrest on this bike here, and lastly I'll just talk about which iron butt ride was better to me, and I'll break it down to you all. Let's get into it. Alright, so of course you all know I did the first iron butt that I did on the Kawasaki Vaquero. I actually did the Alabama Four Corners, which is the four corners of the state of Alabama, and I made it an iron butt ride. So I actually did two rides in one, and I did the Alabama Four Corners. I did that through the Kingdom Alliance Ministry through Retro Philosophy. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out. He's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. He's all over the place. And so I did that through him, and I was like, once I calculated the miles up, it was actually over 1,000 miles, and I wanted to knock it out in one day. And so I ended up getting a certification for that one. And the distance on that ride, I did that one in 20 hours, and the total mileage was 1,090 miles. And that was on my first iron butt. I made it happen on that. And with the Hog, I just wanted to see what it would do. And so I ended up just say, hey, I just want to do a saddle sore 1,000, on this bike. I did the total distance with the Hog in 15 hours, and the miles was 1,020 miles. If you saw my last video, you saw I did that. When I did the saddle sore 1,000 with the Kawasaki Vaquero, I actually rode back roads and I rode the interstate. That actually made that ride a little bit longer, because I think I traveled more back roads than I did interstate on the Vaquero. Now the previous one I just did on the Road Glide, I did mostly all interstate. Pretty much when you do interstate, it's going to condense your time down some, because it's just pretty much a steady flow of traffic, so just steady flow of traffic. If anybody's interested in doing these iron butts, it is kind of good to kind of stay on the interstate, because you can always get off, get gas. Basically it's gas stops galore. You can go miles. You're gonna see a gas stop right off an exit somewhere, unless you're just like in the middle of nowhere. The second thing I want to talk about is the gas mileage. I got more gas mileage out of the Road Glide than I did with the Kawasaki Vaquero. Of course, you all know the Road Glide tank is a little bit bigger than the Vaquero. The Road Glide tank is 6 gallons, and I think the Kawasaki Vaquero, that tank is 5.3 gallons. So that 0.3 and that gallon, it actually, that 0.3, it makes a lot of difference. And the total stop with the Vaquero, I end up having 12 stops, gas stops. With the Road Glide, I only had 7 stops. Technically I had 6, but I did get that last stop just to make sure I get my time stamp, on my last stop, so. But actually when I was in Hamilton, taking that 6 gas stop, I was done, because the bike was filled up, and I think I was like at 950 something miles, maybe 930 something miles. And so the rest of the miles, I was gonna end up getting the 1,000 anyway. But when I got back to my hometown, I still ended up getting gas just to kind of get that time stamp. And so I can just kind of see where I was on my time. Third thing I want to talk about is the comfort of the ride. Which ride was the most comfortable? And to be honest, both of the rides were comfortable. And what made it comfortable, because both of the bikes, you know, they had backrests on them. The backrest on the Vaquero was a little bit shorter than this one here, and I got used to it, you know, as I rode it. Y'all know I just put this on, so I had to put it to the test. And when I rode, you know, it actually felt really, really good. You know, I didn't have any issues, no back pain, and I did it on the stock seat. You know, most people don't have stock seats when they do saddle sores. Some people do, I don't know, but I did this one, you know, on the stock seat. And the stock seat really wasn't that bad. What made it even a better ride was this backrest. You know, I really enjoyed that. And the Kawasaki, it's the same thing. I did that one on the stock seat as well. And it did have a backrest, but that backrest was a little bit lower. You know, it's kind of like a lower lumbar backrest. It came with the bike. I said, well, if I'm gonna be doing an iron butt, I might as well just utilize it. I didn't have any issues with it. I would say, as far as comfort, I would say I would have to give it to the Vaquero just a smidget, because the Vaquero had highway pegs. It made the ride a little bit comfortable because I was able to stretch my legs out on the highway pegs. Now, I don't have any highway pegs on this Road Glide. Man, if I would have had some highway pegs on this Road Glide, I probably would have went to Santa Monica somewhere. But yeah, I mean, I think that'll probably be the next thing I need to get. It'll take you a long way. And I mean, again, I'm considering getting another seat. Shout out to Black XL. She said she got the CC Rider seat, and she said she loves it. So I think I may go with the CC Rider seat, but a lot of people are getting the Bad Boy Cycle seat. I heard that one is really, really good too. And I like the design on the Bad Boy Cycle seats, but hey, who knows? I'm gonna end up getting a seat later on down the line. Again, shout out to Black XL. Both rides were really, really comfortable. I enjoyed the saddle sore on the Vaquero and the one on the Road Glide. It seemed like this one on the Road Glide, it seemed like this one was much easier, you know. You could definitely feel the weight differential between both bikes. When I did the saddle sore on that Vaquero, it was like that bike is a little bit heavy, and it felt more planted to the road, if I could say. When I was passing trucks and stuff like that, I wouldn't get blowed to the side or anything like that, because that bike kind of, you know, it's heavy, so it was more planted to the road. Not saying the Road Glide isn't planted to the road, but it's a little bit lighter than that Vaquero was. So you can kind of feel, being this bike a little bit lighter, you can feel a little bit more wind when you're passing like big trucks, 18-wheelers and stuff like that. You can kind of feel it where, you know, it pushes you a little bit. But that Vaquero, boy, it was planted to the ground. And again, it's already low. It has a low center of gravity, and, you know, being that it weighs a lot, you know, it helps you on those long trips. As far as movability, this bike, you know, I can get in and out of traffic really easy just because it's light. With that Vaquero, man, you gotta put some muscle in it. You know, when you're turning and when you're leaning and all that good stuff, you definitely gotta put some muscle into that bike. Again, I just want to talk about the backrest. The backrest played a major role in me completing this saddle sore here. If I didn't have the backrest on this bike, I don't think I would have did it, because I actually did a 600 day on this bike without any without a backrest. Actually, which ride was better? I would have to say both of them. I mean, both saddle sore ride was great to me. I learned a lot from both rides. It was a learning experience for me and the bikes. I mean, I did one on Kawasaki and I did another one on a Harley Davidson, you know, so Japanese bike and American bike, you know, they're both different. Both experiences were different. I enjoyed them both, and I accomplished them both. If you just compare the miles, yes, I did more miles on the Vaquero, but still, it was like what, 70 miles off. I did 1,090 on the Vaquero and 1,020. 70 miles, that is a big difference, but still, I enjoyed them both. You know, I don't compare the distance. It's just what you learn from these rides. I mean, most importantly, what you want to do is first thing when you leave the house, you know, you got to have that mindset of returning back home safely. That's the real flex, you know, coming back home. Neither of the bikes failed. Nothing failed on the Kawasaki. Nothing failed on the Road Glide. I mean, I really enjoyed them both. So will I do it again? Nah. I won't do a Saddle Sore 1000 again, but I'll definitely be trying to shoot for the Bun Burner 1500. That'll be my next challenge. You know, I want to see if I can get that 1,500 miles, you know, within 24 hours, or, you know, I think it's 32 or 36, whatever. I'm definitely going to try to do it within 24 if I can. I'm just trying to find a good route, you know, where I can get, you know, 8 there and 8 back, you know, 750 there and 750 back. You know, you want to make sure you go over just a little bit, because sometimes the GPS doesn't calculate all your mileage. So it's still good to go over a little bit, not just right at 1,000, you know what I mean? So if any of y'all out there ever considering doing Saddle Sore, I know some of y'all may have done them, you know, just uncertified or unofficial, or ridden over, you know, 1,000 miles, you know, and that's great. I mean, it takes a lot for somebody to be in the saddle for that long. You know, I commend all of y'all who've done that before. So if you ever consider doing it, I think you should do it. You know, it's a great challenge. You do have to make sure your body's in shape. You know, you have to make sure your bike, you know, is in good shape. You know, everything has to be, you know, your mindset has to be there, because it takes a lot. You know, you're out in the open roads all time of day, all time of morning, depending on what time you're leaving. You know, you're gonna see some sun up, you're gonna see some sun down, and I think you should definitely do it. You know, give it a try, you know, just to kind of challenge yourself, you know, in an elite way. And it can be tough, you know, if you're not ready for these long distance rides, man, it could wear down on your body. You know, never push yourself where you just know you can't make it and you're trying to push through. Something bad could really happen. You know, if any tips I can give y'all, you know, make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you eat good, you know, healthy foods like the week before, you know, drink a lot of water, keep you some IV with you, hydration, however you want to do it. Take healthy fruits and healthy snacks with you. Make sure you exercise, you know, the week before and all that good stuff. Just getting your body ready for the endurance, because you never know what type of weather you're going to be in. You know, it could be hot weather, it could be cold weather, just whatever part of the year that you plan on doing it, you know, you want to make sure you're ready for it. All right, y'all, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Just a quick, you know, talk around overview of my last Saddle Sore that I just did, and just comparing the two from the Kawasaki and the Harley Davidson Road Glide. But yeah, if you're ever considering one, let me know. Just drop it down in the comments. You know, make sure you like the video. But yeah, just let me know if you all are considered doing a Saddle Sore, if you actually have already done one, and how many have you done. You know, have you done one on 2 different bikes? That's pretty much it for today, guys. Y'all continue to ride your bikes. Make sure you're safe out there. Continue to be safe. You know, continue to be vigilant. I really appreciate y'all watching the channel. Go and knock that Saddle Sore out. All right, y'all, so thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one. Later. Oh, Mr. Extra. Hey, man, you got to go and knock it out now, man. I know you can do it. But yeah, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.